the Ministry of Education, we'd like to introduce our delegation from the Republic of Botswana, from the University of Botswana. We have come to meet with the University of Liberia. So I'd like to take this time to introduce to you our delegation. I'll start firstly with the head of delegation, Professor Dr. David Norris. And the rest of the people will kindly do themselves, let themselves their introduction because the names are so tough.
I'm Richard Tabulawa, the acting deputy vice chancellor academic affairs. Professor Agreement Jupia, acting dean school of Post-Grad Studies.
Good afternoon. My name is Cassell. I'm the faculty administrator at the School of Graduate Studies.
Good afternoon. My name is Moya Samaritu. I'm the senior executive assistant in the Office of the Vice
Chancellor. So we will now listen to the president, Dr. Nelson, to welcome your guests. We just have 3 items on our agenda, and after that, they will give us the purpose of the visit. Thank you.
Let me start with our team introducing ourselves. We'll start from the Dean of the College of Education, who is the alumnus of our friend of Botswana, ambassador from there. So let's start with you.
Do I need to introduce myself?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Cecilia Cassell. I'm the Dean for the College of Education at the University of Liberia and graduate of the University of Botswana. And I was named this morning as ambassador for Botswana to the University of Liberia.
Excellency. Yep. 3 members. I see higher education there, but I know they have another role from the MOE.
Yeah. This higher education is on this team that.
Okay, I'm the Chancellor Lama, Vice President for the President. Welcome and thank you for being on this morning. Thank you.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Dr. Dennis. I'm the Vice President of the College of Sciences. Today, my name is Untitled and I'm Vice President for Institutional Development Fund.
Moses Zima is my name. Share the seat office with you. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Yes. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Benetta Jupiter. I'm the Vice President for Administration.
Julius Nelson, the President of the University of Liberia, or the Vice Chancellor for the University of Liberia, and before the assistant. Welcome to the University of Liberia. We are so happy the colleagues from the Ministry of Education included the visit to the University of Liberia. Thank you for visiting with us, and thank you for working with our faculty who went to your institution for higher learning, and one of your proud products here, helper in our College of Education and other areas and so forth. We look forward to our discussions today. We have worked hard in various ways to solve backlog in our new dream. We look forward to discussion based on what we will be hearing from you. We have students in several parts of Africa, especially South and Eastern Africa. Botswana being a part of that with Cecilia and those who are attending there. But we thank you for coming to Liberia on this special mission. But we look forward to see how can we be a major part of your visit and discussions in Liberia and what future discussion partnership that we can cement for the future direction of higher education in Africa, especially so in the higher education. Welcome once again. We are here today at our Capital Hill campus. We have 4 campuses here at the University of Liberia. The Capital Hill campus is our 4 main campus. Here in Monrovia, in the city center, we have the College of Health Science campus with a medical, pharmacy, and nursing program. We have our new future campus, the Findia campus that have most of the undergraduate colleges. And We have another campus outside of the Monrovia to Sierra Leone border in Western Liberia, our technical and vocational college. Currently, we have the student enrollment of 1,000 plus at the University of Liberia, 10 undergraduate programs, and 3 professional schools and 7 institutes. All of that contribute to what we have at the University of Liberia. The faculty enrollment of 1,500 part-time and full-time, and staff 1,200. But that is just a summary of what we have in at the University of Liberia. And we heard some things about Botswana University of Botswana through CCI and other teams. But we're happy you are here and look forward to listening to you and our interactions. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Let me just start by saying I wish to convey my earnest and sincere appreciation in the manner in which we've been received in Liberia from the time we arrived here until now. The warmth of the people here is very comforting. We come in here, Mr. President, I'm looking at where you started in 1863, and I'm saying we can learn a lot from you because we're relatively very young. We started in 1982, and so compared to where you are, certainly there's a lot that we can learn from you. But I also believe you can also learn something from us. In our young age, you can also learn from us. We are here, we recognize that for a long time we've always been looking to the West for partnership, collaborations, and so on. But we've been introspecting and saying, is it only where we can get solutions? No, we are saying we must then go to our African brothers and sisters and see what we can learn from each other, given that we have common challenges. And therefore we feel that working with the University of Liberia, that is just one way in which we can solve these common problems. Because are common to us, we therefore can come up with solutions that are really effective and efficient. So that is why we are here. So there are a number of areas that we are really looking at, core to this being research, development, and innovation. Because I think with where the world is moving, the economy is being powered by knowledge. Universities is where knowledge is created and disseminated. And so it's very, very important that one area where we should be partnering with you or collaborating with you is on research. Research. Because I think in this new economy, in the fourth industrial revolution, knowledge is key. Knowledge has become a very valuable resource, far much more valuable than natural resources. Is the minds, the ideas that are now powering economies. And we are saying these are the ideas that are resident in institutions of higher learning. It becomes therefore very, very important that we are also agile in developing degree programs that will address the needs of this economy. And so another area where we can work together is curriculum development. Development of degree programs that are fitting in this and even future economies, because we must be futuristic even in what we do. What are those things that we can do together? But then, of course, this brings to the point of exchange of staff members. Staff exchange, very, very important. Where some of your staff can go to University of Botswana, be resident there. It can be physical, it can be virtual. And the other way around, from the University of Botswana, coming in for a few months, it can be physical, it can also be virtual. But in a blended form, I think it's more effective. Where sometimes we do interact physically, I think sometimes it has more value than just seeing each other over the screens and so forth. So we feel that's important. But then it also goes to our own students. One of the things that I've realized is that the exposure is very, very important. Exposure is very, very important. You can't have around a student, a graduate who really perform well, but who has narrow mindset. So we want our students to also travel, come spend some time here, understand the culture here, understand how things are done here. That would add and enrich their lives. In the same manner, would also like some of us, your students, to also go to the University of Botswana and also see how things are done in Botswana, learn the culture. So those are very, very important things that we take very, very seriously. Going beyond that, I think even in terms of student mentorship, there'll be those deficiencies that we might be having in our institution in terms of maybe supervision at doctoral level, at master's level, where we can say we do have competence at the University of Liberia, and the staff here can be supervisors of our students, and vice versa. Where there are deficiencies here, our staff members could also serve as supervisors here. So really, at the global level, this is what we are really here for. Capacity building. 60% of our staff members hold PhDs, but we want to grow that. We want, if we are going to be talking about intensifying our research, intensifying innovation, we need to have our staff members holding degrees at the highest level. And therefore, we can also have our staff members who are at master's level, who we are now saying acquire PhD because they can come and do that PhD here. And even in the same manner, those of you who may not have doctoral degrees can, looking at where the strengths are, they can also go to the University of Botswana and get the higher degrees. So in essence, this is what brings us here, Mr. President. Yes.
Thank you so much.
But let me just give a background because I think it might be important that I just give a little background about the University of Botswana. As I said, we were established in 1984 and we are celebrating 40 years of our existence this year. And therefore, there are a lot of celebrations, events that are taking place in celebrating these 40 years of existence. We are formed from very humble beginnings. This was a time when the country was did nothing. There was no tech space, but the leadership felt that it's only education that can empower us and give us true freedom. Because government did not have money, there was a campaign to say to all Botswana who had the means. But remember that time, I think only 5% of the people in Botswana were salaried workers. So these were subsistence farmers who built that university. So there was a campaign where parents, communities, they gave cattle, they gave goats, they gave bags of milling milk, bags of beans and so forth. And this government sold and generated money that built the university that we have right now. And therefore, it's very, very important for us as a university to say, are we relevant to the society that built us? And that is why, one of the reasons why we intensify research. And research that we don't formulate in our offices, research that addresses real problems out there. Because that is the only way in which we can honor men and women who built our institution. We are a comprehensive university. We have all faculties that you can think of. Faculty of Health Sciences, Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Faculty of Sciences, Social Science, Education, Business, and so forth. And we also have a few centers, research centers of excellence. So this is the University of Botswana in a nutshell. Thank you very much. My colleagues are here, I think, as we continue with our discussions and looking where the possible areas of collaboration can also be adding to what I've just shared with you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to add to what my Vice Chancellor has just said, to mention that we have a relatively well-developed infrastructure, in the university. We have laboratories that are some of them really world class, where research is being carried out. computer labs, and so forth. So we really have what it takes to deliver, some of the programs that demand well-developed infrastructure. During the resources, they have made it very clear that about 60% of our staff is our PhDs, and it's something that we still want to grow. That is not enough. We wish we were 100%, but we are working very hard to attain that one. In actual fact, we have made it a requirement to possess a PhD in order to be appointed as a lecturer. But we do acknowledge that we still have some way to go. We are working very hard towards that. Because like I just said, universities are centers of knowledge generation. And knowledge generation requires people who have trained at the highest level. And we do recognize that if we were to attain that high level of development, then we need to have well-trained people. Again, Cecilia, I think you attested to that, yeah? That in terms of student experience, we have put in place policies and structures that ensure that students, including international students, who enroll at the University of Botswana, get the experience that will make them kind of hold us that just as a level. Of course, I think we have some way to go, but we are moving in that direction. So we are more than willing, in actual fact, to host some of the staff members who are areas of people attending PhDs and so on. But we are also very much interested in getting our staff also over here to Liberia, so that they also develop that experience, intercultural understanding that the Vice Chancellor was making reference to. Today's world is a very competitive world, and for one to be competitive, you need intercultural skills that we want to hone in our students. So really staff exchange, student exchange, something that we value much is, I think, one of the areas which we explore during the sessions of this.
All right, thank you, Mr. President, and the VC and DBCAA. I think they have articulated what we stand for as the University of Botswana, but I will sort of venture into my own area of interest, which is on postgraduate studies. Just to indicate that currently we have about 48 master's degree programs and 54 master in philosophy, and that also 54 applies to our PhD programs. Now, the Vice Chancellor has talked about the issue of collaboration, especially in terms of research. And the niche area definitely will be on the examination process. Just to give you an idea that we do get external examiners the globe over to examine for us. And the Vice Chancellor this time around was quite courteous to us to increase the honoraria that we have been paying both our external as well as introducing the payment of honoraria to the internal examiners. So what then that means is that as a starting point, the two institutions, we can actually look at the exchange of CVs in various areas and see whom we can recommend and engage for the examination process. Here's the good thing about the nature of our PhD and our MPhil programs as they stand today, that if you have examined during the initial stages, the final stage of the oral defense, you will still be part and parcel of that process. Now, maybe for your interest is to learn that we require our Masters of Philosophy and PhD students to publish before they can defend their PhD. Something that we are enforcing seriously, and we have seen remarkable increase in terms of publications across the 7 faculties and 1 as a senior lecturer or qualified to be a senior lecturer in our institution. That just shows how serious we are with the field of research and ascertaining that we are not just training the students, but we are also empowering them with the skills so that they can join academia, those that are interested in the field of academia. So the last innovation from the Vice Chancellor's office is endorsed by Senate is also the issue that we have introduced PhD scholarships, where we are basically deliberately looking for teaching assistants. So those students of us who are excelling in various facets, we send out an advert. The faculty administrator here takes care of that. We send out an advert, and then our students apply, and then faculties make a choice. So as of right now, we have 2 teaching assistants per faculty. But it is our dream that in the next 2-3 years, we should be looking at probably 30 to 50 comprehensive. So that is just to add a little bit of beef to what the Vice Chancellor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic Affairs have indicated as I take a course.
Dr. Zena, Madam Bole, and VP Dan, I will give you the opportunity to share from our standpoint, and Bole will share what the possibilities are for special on the MOU that will cement our discussion. But we'll go to Professor Zena first, to his academic affairs.
Okay. Mr. VC, colleague from Academic Affairs and Resident, let me join my president to welcome you to Liberia.
Thank you.
Personally, I have a special education to Botswana. When I finished my postdoc, I was hired to go to Botswana. In the BCA, Botswana College Agriculture, in 1993, as a young postdoc. So I have some connections. By the time the war was at its peak, so I accepted a job in Ghana. So I still have good. I have my appointment letter. By the time your office in London,
Yes.
interviewed me with a colleague in Hawaii,
Yes.
based in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And then Prof. Cassell taught me, he was based in the college, but he helped to build to study cultural culture.
Oh,
He's
wow.
our very senior professor here.
Wonderful.
And we have a student who's pursuing his PhD now in the University of Liberia in Botswana. Gamoyo Sangamoyo. He was here recently, he's now doing his research. So I want to thank you for nurturing our faculty. And this university was lucky to have trained one of your ministers of agriculture. She studied here today of undergraduate here, a Botswana student in the 70s. I was told by Dr. Broderick and the others. She was trained here. And the family became a very senior person in Botswana.
Yes.
So personally, I'm happy that this is happening. And the area for joint research actually strikes me. Some good professors here we share their CVs and other things so that we can collaborate. We are also looking to embark our graduate school here. We're setting up 8 programs. We still don't have a PhD program here, even though we're a little bit old. These are areas we want to see how we can jointly supervise masters and PhD students. Our president and this university believes that if we collaborate South-South, I think we can take a front lead instead of always thinking that you have to go across. So I think I'm excited about you, Mr. DC, and the DPA and the others, that we have an opportunity to seize so that we can make some progress quickly. I'm impressed with your percentage of PhD. Yeah, so I think we can learn some lessons from you. There's something in here doing that we need to learn from in terms of relating environment. We still have around 9% that have PhDs. So we can learn from them. There's nothing to worry about. It's good to share experience like this. So you tell us how you are doing the maneuvering that has helped you to, in 40 years, to move towards 60, 70, and moving forward, so that we don't reinvent the wheel. And the area that you mentioned in terms of research, curriculum development, and student exchange, those are areas that we can formalize using our legal office into an MOU, and then we can bite the cake small to see areas that are low hanging fruits. In long term, we can find a way to begin the process as you leave from here, so that in the next few months, the next academic year, we can at least concretize some of the areas in the academic area. So I'll stop here and let my colleagues, partnership, the health people, and administration.
Thank you very much. As a VC and party, your team is highly welcome to the University of Liberia. As I listen to you, I've been doing some work recently on emerging strategies for meeting challenges in higher education administration. And one of the things I found very striking is this collaboration with institutions that have similar history, culture, expectations, because sometimes we tend to lean more heavily towards colonial masters, and their systems are not necessarily the one that we can all pattern our own growth and knowledge-based activities after. At institutional development and planning, where I work, we like to foster as many partnerships as possible, especially in the areas of faculty and staff development and exchange, as well as piggybacking on your interest in joint research collaboration. 2 days ago, I had the occasion to discuss with Dr. Zina here, and we're looking at how we can build staff capacity in the area of research. Lately, I've been pushing him into something that was just started, the Association of Qualitative Research for Africa. It has a big base now of about 400 persons, and we've been looking at how the University of Liberia can benefit from there. But this is one area where I think our university can benefit from working with you, because as old as we are, we still have needs to build our ranking profile, and this is one way we can do it. So one of the things we've been pushing from our end subtly is how to get faculty members to publish in peer-reviewed journals that can help build the profile of the University of Liberia. So that's one aspect that I think we need to look at very strongly, and working with people who have the experience. You know, we keep blaming everything in our country on the war. The war ended almost 15 years ago, and coming out of the war, some of us still believe the old ways of doing things are more comforting and best. And so meeting any organizational change, you always have the kind of resistance that we really need to start turning around to our benefit. If we can get faculty and staff more engaged in collaborative ventures. So we welcome your visit here, and we can assure you that working from our end, once we get the requisite documentation in place, in fact, before we even get it in place, some of us will be working so that we can make sure that whatever our dreams and our plans are will become a reality. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, and also welcome again. At the College of Health Sciences, there are 4 schools at the moment. So it's the School of Medicine, the School of Pharmacy, there's a nursing and midwifery program, and a master's in public health. Quite recently, we established a Center for Teaching, Learning, and Innovation. And the center tends to develop faculty members, both in service and maybe education that they need from outside. It is also helping to look at faculty, strengthen to support faculty members who are involved in research. We established an Office of Sponsored Research with a grants management unit. And so they support the faculty and students on research proposal development and grants management. And then they tend to monitor the implication and report properly on the grants that come in. We also help the faculty members to also publish some of the research work that they do. Quite recently, we did a revision of the curriculum for the medical school. Prior to early this year, we had a 9-year program, a 4-year undergraduate, and then a 5-year medical school. Pretty well fashioned around the American system. Recently, we changed it to what we see in West Africa, so the West African system. We introduced a 1-year pre-med training and a 6 years, 3 years preclinical and 3 years clinical. The biggest challenge we have there is the faculty, especially for the preclinical, anatomy, physiology, the basic sciences. At the moment, we are working to see how we can introduce a PhD program for the basic sciences. And mentorship for PhD program is key, and so it's one thing that I think we can work with. We can even work on the curriculum development. The School of Pharmacy also, we shifted from a 4-year undergraduate and another 4 years pharmacy to a 6-year Doctor of Pharmacy program. And that is also quite new. So the same kind of support is also required for them. We are transforming the classroom to smart classrooms. So digital support from partners from other institutions will be possible within the short term also. Basically, the student exchange, faculty exchange, those are things that we look forward to, that we think we can work together on in the seminars and courses.
Two other areas I want to lift up in those sharing. What is the support of government or the University of Botswana? And where do you take the other additional resources or funding areas for the support of the institution? How do you manage during the COVID-19 period? You have to switch to online or e-learning process. What are you doing now in this kind of situation? I was interested in the laboratories you talked about and how we can explore possibility to improve our laboratories here in Liberia would be something else.
We've been heavily reliant on government for a very long time through subsidy subvention. So that would be the biggest really funding routes for the university. Of course, the second one will then be tuition. For a long time, we've not been doing very well in terms of stats training generation from other things because we're so used to getting 100% support from them. But over the last 10 years, that support has been dwindling, going down, which is, I think, is a global phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon. I think in the last 25 years, in the last 5 years, we've had subvention kind of close to 23%, just in the last 5 years. So the key driver for us now hinges on research, development, and innovation. Do we turn around our academic activities to be an entrepreneurial university? So that's the key thing for us. Research grants, and also leveraging on the facilities and the infrastructure that we have. How do we bring in money through that? So that becomes very, very important. So research intensification is one way in which we can bring in money. But of course, I was just listening to you from the pharmacy program, for instance. One of the entrepreneurial activities with the School of Pharmacy, we also want to establish a pharmacy that can dispense medicines. So it's not only going to make some money for us, but it's also experiential learning for our students. So they have the school here, we have the pharmacy here where they can. So there are a lot of things, if I can just give you just typical examples of what we are doing in terms of entrepreneurship. We have a state-of-the-art sports center, a high-performance sports facility, where athletes, professional athletes can come in and be tested in all what a professional athlete will be tested on. We have football stadiums where the Premier League, the professional teams can come and play in our stadium. That's generating money out of that. We have been very active in producing what we call biodiesel from fats from the abattoirs, and the mines are very keen. They say, please ramp up production of your biodiesel so that we can use in our trucks, in our buses, and so forth. So we are doing research that can also lead to products and services that we can commercialize. So that is the key driver for us now, because it will be futile for us to think that government will give us money. That's very clear. Be on your feet, self-sustained. That's clear. We've been knocking and knocking. No, please give us this. It's a knock in futility. So, yes, our fingers are bruised. So we might as well see how we do. But it starts with the strengthening and the quality of your academic offerings. So if you do that and you make sure that you are involved in the whole research value chain, then you should be able to raise some funding. Yes. So that's the key thing for us, Mr. President. But if I may just comment on what you talked about in terms of publishing in peer-reviewed journals and stuff like that. We've made it very clear that you see, sometimes you must just put your foot down for change to happen. To say, if you're going to be promoted, these are the outlets where you're going to publish. So it has to be databases that are recognized globally. So, if you choose to publish somewhere, that's fine, but it will never count towards being assessed as something valuable to us. So there are those outlets that you publish in, and we are very active. We subject ourselves to Times Higher Education ranking system. We are already there, we are ranked. So those are really some of the things the way we are driving the university to be a real global player in the education space. So we subject ourselves to all those things. So the rankings are also very, very important to us, and we are doing very well. And because we are in the top 20 according to the Times Higher Education system in Africa. So the Center of Teaching and Learning, I think this is where there's a great opportunity indeed, because one of the things that we're also trying to learn is the generation, these students, how do they prefer to learn and how effectively can we make that learn. So innovative teaching methods, very, very important for us. How do we train our lecturers to effectively deliver and have engaged students who really learn? That's very, very important for us. So teaching and learning, those innovative teaching methods, very, very important for us. So we can learn from each other. And the School of Pharmacy is relatively new, already doing very, very well. So, but we want to also offer, are we already offering a doctoral level pharmacy?
So far,
Not yet. So that's the direction that we also. So there are really some commonalities where we can work together and help each other. Yeah.
we say that especially like that our pharmacy department produce the sanitizer.
Yes, that's a very important one. Yes, yes. That's really, but you see, where we get this in the process of making biodiesel, we then produce glycerol. It's coming out of this process, and that's all that we go to your sanitizer and all those things that you'll apply on your bodies. Yes. Yes.
On the issue of staff development, we are interested in knowing how we can attain the 60 or more % of staff. In the 80s, when the university was founded, early 80s, 1982 to be specific, when we went to study at the University of Botswana, the majority of staff members were actually staff. Very few locals were members of staff. But it was recognized that we could not have sustainable development of the institution if we rely on outsiders. So the university came up with a policy, staff development policy, which deliberately set out to develop locals, particularly undergraduates or those who just finished that did very well, and take them for further training. It's been sent out to all over the world to go and train. Some of them in West Africa, especially in Nigeria and so forth. So then that's how we were able to build up that capacity. But of course, it was with general support from government. Because government realized that this was a strategic institution and it needed support. So we were able to sustain that development of academic staff. It's becoming a little bit tough, like the investors are saying, we decline support from government. But we always find ways of ensuring that we don't rely or relax on staff development, because that is key. Without that, I think it becomes very difficult for us to move forward. Yeah. So, but we are also exploiting opportunities, scholarships that are very good programs. Yeah, to get our staff to apply for those and get sponsored. So we have been doing that for some time now, as you can imagine. Yeah, and now we want to turn inward and say now, because we don't have much to send out people for further studies, we can still do that or region. And it also becomes easier online. And people are doing their PhDs in South Africa, online, and they visit occasionally. Yeah, from time to time. So it's really helpful, and it forces us to be creative in that. Now, I'm interested really in the association of qualitative research structure. I hadn't heard of it. That's that I guess.
It's basically new, actually, about 3 months old.
Okay.
And the membership now is about 400.
And it's people from across the
Well,
of Africa.
yes, in fact, but it is recommended, so maybe if I have your contact details, I can send the links to you. But it's very helpful because there are so many webinars that come out for enrichment, some of them free, some of them paid. But sharing even ideas about how you conduct research, how you prepare for Viva. I mean, these kinds of things like other researchers might look for, how do you get your peer review articles published? What are the kind of journals and stuff? So I mean, those are the kind of things they deal with. And I think for me, I found it very helpful. I've been sharing with other colleagues, and they too have found it very, very useful. But most of the membership has been concentrated in West Africa, like Ghana, Nigeria first. Ghana, Liberia is on there, so they having regional structures. West Africa, South Africa, and that is actually just being put into place.
Yeah, I'm asking because we have one of the most, one of the foremost scholars on research methodologies, particularly qualitative research methodologies. I think in context, if not the way that we do Professor research, has published a very, very influential text on African research methodologies. And here we know about so I think you should be very much interested in that association.
MOE, I know I'm interested in the next step. I know they are here, but we at the UL want to move behind the discussion to see how we can concretize this interaction into practical next steps for a possibility for partnership with our colleagues from Botswana. So guide us in that direction. I know they are here for this week, but we are interested in trying to make sure that we move beyond the initial visit to other possibilities we can move from there.
Yes. So always be available just in case other issues we avail ourselves to ensure that have some follow-ups on their visits.
Well, then register the University of Liberia interested in long-term partnership with the University of Botswana. We have faculty from here who have graduated, and I think this opportunity provides another platform for you to even do more in other areas. I know they go from Teachers College, benefit of know Professor Cassell was down there before, and at one time Golokai is also there sometime in Botswana with their medical program. But I think we need to intensify our discussion from the end. We are the model school here. We want to make sure that part of the report that will be making that UL is interested in concretizing additional partnership with our friends from Botswana.
Mr. President, actually, the College of Education actually has 4 persons that are
Four now.
Dr. Young, Dr. Siddle, Ms. Gray. The thing of the college teams and the head of editorial.
Yes, I think that the next step, to have a formal MOU, which we can enter into, and then maybe stipulate what areas of collaboration we can have.
We ask our institutional development, academic affairs, and legal to do some homework in that. We have a general formula to work on that. And then what will happen is that after we do that, it will send you a draft of what we are thinking about from your perspective and see how we can go from there. So, but at least that would be a way to summarize what we did here and explore those possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just one more thing. I'm sort of interested in just finding out about the manner in which postgraduate studies is arranged here, just for appreciation going forward.
Yeah. We have several postgraduate programs in various areas. Usually, we have they take an exam. All postgraduate candidates in the various programs that we have now, they sit an aptitude test. And based on that, the various units that are offering mostly master's programs, they don't have a PhD. And then the units make a determination, and then depending on the number of qualified candidates, there may be additional interviews, especially in the legal and medical area, to make a decision on the final candidates. Our challenge is usually is a lot of interest, but the number of qualified professors to supervise the candidates limits our ability to take qualified candidates. So it's really a struggle. So luckily, we have a lot of people who already got PhDs. The minimum to supervise can be a challenge because you want to be good in your area, specialization to be the lead, the lead supervisor. But like I'm saying, they are created linkages with University of Syrian, University of Cape Coast to co-supervise. And then through that process, you can groom younger assistant professors who have become trying to be tenured. So through that post-supervision, you can then publish together so that you can meet the minimum qualification to be.
Maybe just a follow-up. Where are these programs housed? For instance, like in our model, we have the School of Postgraduate Studies overseeing all postgraduate studies. But then, in terms of the parenting of the programs, they are within the faculties and departments.
We have just done that. This academic year we roll over because our earlier programs were based on needs and they were demanded. So they were housing in the School of Graduate Studies. Well, all graduate programs are independent colleges. The University Graduate Schools provides quality control, compliance issue, who should supervise, and then the final decision in terms of. But the management now have gone back to the departments, the colleges, even for the final admission. Then the graduate school will write based on the recommendation from the units.
They did that transformation to launch the graduate program into the normal college of faculty as we move forward. So we completed that over the past 6 months.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that being said,
Before you close us, you can't come to the University of Liberia and we don't show UL's hospitality to our friends who have come. So that I want to make sure that the alumni from University of Botswana to please help me here to come and pin our Vice Chancellor with the presidential pin from the University of Liberia as a way to express our appreciation for all that. Start with this.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, on behalf of the President, the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia, faculty, student staff, I'd like to put this pin as the ambassador of Botswana to the University of Liberia to say to you, you are welcome. Rest assured, as ambassador, I will make sure your interest and our own interests are kept intact.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But our tradition will also make sure that we also invite you, the DVCAA, to help us do that. Let me make it a little bit of work with it.
Fortunately for me, he was the dean when I was a student. And like here, where any student can just open the dean's office, it's not like that. You know, you have to book this appointment, see this day, and it was like this day. And guess what? We met in Italy. We met in China. Oh, now we can shake hands. So on behalf of the University of Liberia, okay, fine. You can bring your little coffee in this mug, you know, show you that we appreciate you. Enjoy yourself. You're always ready in all the different things we have in this one.
I was sorry to go into.
Well, this is a very, very good teacher. I didn't remember him, but we met this morning because we met all of us that guided from there. And so I remember Cecilia, I was there for her Viva. So thank you for coming. And I'd like to assure you that your effort, when you said she's qualified, you can give for the degree is not easy. We will surely make us proud. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very unique.
And you can sign the credits, those that will be right. We still have students there.
So this is just going to sign for the pass. Thank you very much.
Madam, you are welcome.
Hey, this Hawaii lady, I remember when we were there, we got through our work and we sent it. Thank you for coming.
Especially assisting in the office of the Vice Chancellor do a lot of work.
Yes.
And want to make sure that we don't leave you out. You are a strategic connection.
Yes.
So with my president, what he had just said, just get ready, we're not on the road, there'll be possibly there. If we can get to the Vice Chancellor.
We get here, we know we get a Vice Chancellor.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
You got the camera, so you can.
You are in this board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming to Nigeria. And I know as we take our vote, take it back. My supervisors, Dr. Jenki, Siwa, and Momakwa,
Yes.
see this, that is Cecilia. Thank you.
Thank you.
While we are there, unfortunately, we lost two of our bags with some souvenirs. But the good news is that they've been found. Yes, so we'll get them this evening, and then I think, I don't know who we will liaise with.
Does not know.
Yes, so we'll do this. But this is just some information on our postgraduate program that we just share with you. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice
Thank you very
This is
much.
great.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks so much, Doc. We appreciate.
Back to MOE.
So it was wonderful being together. I'd like to take this time to, on behalf of the Ministry of Education, say thanks and also announce that this meeting is hereby adjourned, as we may have other places to go so that our guests can retire to their hotel. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated. Thank you so much.
Ambassador.
So nobody copied here.
No, keep this. Ambassador.